Hello and welcome to my NNL North Weekend recap and stash ads video. Calling it the weekend. Show is only on Sunday, but we did travel up on Saturday. Hit some hobby shops along the way, so we had some stash ads on Saturday. And then a few more on Sunday at the show. So instead of kind of doing a split recap and stash ads, I think I'm going to do it kind of play-by-play as the weekend went. Starting Friday with packing for the show, Saturday on the travel, and then Sunday, the event coverage. The event coverage is actually up on the channel already. So if you've already seen that, there might be a little bit of redundancy in this video. But if you have not, make sure you go check that out. I have most of the tables. I screwed up some of the video along the way and missed out on a few of the models. Kind of bummed out about, but nothing I can do about it. And we had the awards at the end, so make sure you go check that out. But let's start off on Friday night, and that was packing and choosing model kits. I've been kind of contemplating all weekend. It's hard to pick favorites to go. I really don't have any expectations to win, and just want to take some stuff up for visual interest and conversation material. But I did choose 8 to go, and those 8 were the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner, which was part of the USAC group build. Then up was the 63 Ford Fairlane, which was the 500 subscriber kind of build-along car, the blue and black Fairlane. Next up after that was the 54 panel or sedan delivery gasser for the Mad Gasser group build. Then we had the 59 Chevy El Camino, which was a part of the Fat Fenders, Fins, and Chrome group build. Then we had the 41 Plymouth, which I just recently finished. It was a 40s car. I knew that they had a 40s or a fabulous 40s kind of theme, so I decided to build up a 40s car. I couldn't find any other info on their other classes, but I didn't know that one was there and I didn't have anything to fill it, so we threw that one in the mix. And then next up, we had the 65 Pontiac 2+2 Custom with the chop top and slam to the ground. And then we had the AMT 3-in-1 customizing boat, which we did for the Cancer Awareness group build. And then lastly, we had the 1956 Cadillac Eldorado convertible, which was 1/32 scale, and that was part of the small scale group build. So that'll move us into Saturday for travel day, which started off at roughly 9:30 a.m. I'd been given a heads up on a couple of hobby shops to make sure to hit up along the way. So we plan to leave a little early, leave us some time to do some shopping and just casually get into the St. Paul area where the show is being held. First stop was a Walmart along the way, and we did pick up a stash ad. There was some kits in the clearance aisle. I picked up the 77 Ford van for $10 on clearance. Nice little grab. It does have the Redline tires, the Coke machine, and a van can always pull a race car for 10 bucks. Had to pick it up. There was a few other ones there that were on clearance for $15. They had like the Pinto, the Cameo, the Lightning, but nothing real interesting at 15 bucks. So we moved on, hit up another Walmart. There was nothing at the second Walmart. So moving on in, we decided to hit up a hobby shop that I was informed is a very big one and a must-have to hit. And that was Scale Model Supply in St. Paul, Minnesota. Again, this was one that I was told to make sure I stop. This is a must-stop if you're in the area. To give you kind of an idea, I did spend an hour and a half in the store. I did about an hour of filming just to kind of give you an idea of how large this place was, how impressive it was. Just absolutely anything and everything when it comes to like model kits, model trains, just everything of the nature. Again, there'll be a separate video just on that hobby shop coming up later this week. But kind of a spoiler alert for that video, I will show the stash ads that we did pick up. And I did choose to pick up a kit. I could have easily blown the whole budget there in that first store, but I had to make sure I grabbed something just as a thank you for letting me record there. And the first up is the Mobius 65 Plymouth Belvedere, the Hemi Superstock. Been doing quite a few of these Mobius Mopars on the channel. Again, just another variation of it. This does have the Hemi with the Hemi hood. Don't know if this one's going to get built as the California Flash, as I do have other decals coming. The reason I picked this kit up is I do want to do Mr. Grumpy Jenkins Black Arrow car. So that's what this one is slotted to become. As well as I did manage to snag a couple of things of photo etch. One of a 60 Chevy Impala, one of a 65 Impala. I want to do the whole series from 58 to 65, maybe beyond, but all of those kind of 409 and X-frame cars. I really want to do a day 2 series with them all, and I want to go full detail with photo etch, wiring and plumbing, and just do a really nice display of all those cars. So I'm excited to at least get 2 marked off the list for those. And next up, our second hobby shop was Hobby in Richfield. Really nice store, just kind of a general retail store. Nice hobby shop. Again, they had like Warhammer 40K, they had trains, they had Gundam. They had a little bit of everything. Just a really nice store and a nice place to pick up some supplies. And that's all I ended up getting there. But we got some Tamiya cement. We got some of the gray panel liner. And then we did pick up a couple of primers. We got the black and the gray primer. Just nice to pick up some of those hazardous waste kind of supplies that get expensive when you need to ship them in. But that was a really nice store to visit. If you're in the area, by all means, check it out. So moving on from there, and the rest of Saturday was just us getting into the hotel and getting a bite to eat. And by us, I mean my parents went with. They essentially took me up there and helped me out again on Sunday, taking things in and out to the car. It was a big help, and I can't thank them enough. It was really appreciated and made the weekend a whole lot better. And then moving on into Sunday, 10 a.m. was the door open for the show. And that was at the Knights of Columbus Event Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. Again, 10 a.m. was the door opening, so we figured we'd get there shortly after 10. About 10:20, we finally got there. There was still a line outside, and we ended up waiting for 30, maybe even 40 minutes in line, trying to get into the door. Got in the door, got our entry tickets, sat down to start filling those out. Larry from Larry's Model Shop showed up, said hi. Great to meet him finally. Spoke a little bit, kind of gave me a heads up on some of the vendors, and then we were going to meet up a little bit later. Got my cards filled out, cards on the table. By that time it was roughly 11:30. So kind of the first thing I did, hit up that vendor that Larry kind of gave me a heads up on, and got some great deals right off the bat. The first 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes after kind of getting everything on the display. And let's start off with that stash ad. So first up, we got MPC's Diora, the show truck. It's kind of a classic rod. Has the camper. I assume, I haven't even cracked these open to look at them. That's how fresh the stash ad video is. But he had $10 listed on that, and you can't pass that up. You can always find parts for $10. And next up was Revell's Dan Fink Speedwagon. I've heard that there's really great parts inside of here if you don't build it up as the rod by itself, but there's a lot of really nice parts, so I figured why not. Again, for $10 you can get parts out of it, no problem at that price point. Again, I hope to dig into these. They all looked, I kind of cracked a couple of them open. They look like they had sealed bags and stuff inside, so I just went for it. Next up is MPC's vending machine. Nice classic show rod, hot rod. Pretty cool show rod. Not really big into the show rods, but this one might get built this way, or it might just get used for making a different cool hot rod. But again, you can see that price point, $5. You can't pass up a kit for $5 if it's got stuff inside. So that's another great grab. Moving on, continuing on, we got this one, AMT's Laurel and Hardy 25T Roadster. Again, it's got some loose parts inside. Most of it kind of looked in there and looked like it was there. A little classic kit, but again, $5. If the body's in there, you can make a hot rod out of it for $5. Continuing on, this is all the same vendor with some smoking deals and, kind of building a stack right off the get-go. Next up, iconic kit, Ed Ross Outlaw. I started one of these, broke the front axle. I've been looking for a front axle to replace this. I was hoping to find some parts at the show, but this was on the first table. Again, Revell's classic Outlaw, and he had it priced at $10. Again, looked like the bags were sealed inside, and if half the parts were in there, it was worth the $10 to just replace the axle. I seen the chrome tree was in there incomplete, so I was all over that guy. And last in the stack is another iconic kit, the Revell 49 Merc. Again, just cracked it open, seen some bags, seen the body, totally worth it. He did have noted engine started on there, but no big deal. And see if we can find the price. There is no price on this, but he offered it up for 10 bucks. I had a stack of the 49 Merc, the Outlaw, Laurel and Hardy, the vending machine, and he's like, just make a pile, we'll do some dealing. So then we threw in the Diora and Speedfink. I got all 6 of those for 40 bucks. How can you beat that? That was pretty wild, pretty exciting way to kick off the show. Again, I wasn't looking to build my stack of my kits. I really want to focus my funds on picking up like vintage custom parts, photo etch, decals, all that small stuff that's, you know, $5 or $10 that doesn't make sense to add another $5 or $10 for shipping. It's what I really want to concentrate my funds on, but that stack right off the get-go, those 6 kits for 40 bucks, hard to pass up. But we're moving on. We're going to kind of start panning through and running around the vendor area to try to get those early deals and scoop up some stuff before everybody else. And a couple more vendors down the way, we did find a little envelope with decals that were listed at $2 each, or 3 for $5, so we had to dig into those, as again I was looking for some decals, and I did manage to score some up, so let's get through them. First up is a set of Shirley Muldowney decals. These are for her satellite funny car, not the Muldowney funny car that I was looking for. I am actually looking for the Mustang. If you guys seen last week's box opening, I did a Mustang funny car box opening, and I would love to do her car, so if anybody out there has decals for that they're willing to let go, please hit me up. I would love to get those off of you. You can hit me up on my email or Facebook, wherever you can. Again, that's the whole reason I bought that kit, was to eventually do the Muldowney Mustang. But we got the satellite. If we come across that kit, or worst case scenario, then we can cut these up, just throw them on a tow rig. And next up is Melrose Missile number 6. I do believe that this is an altered wheelbase Melrose Missile. We do have that Mobius one, which is a standard wheelbase. Again, for a couple bucks, we'll either build this kit or use some contingencies or make a fantasy car out of it. And moving on, we have Chevy Too Heavy, which is a Nova altered wheelbase car. Looked like a pretty cool car for a couple bucks, but upon further inspection, they're kind of pixelated, so we'll see on those. But again, $2 and not how much can make a fantasy car do something with. Next up, this is definitely one that was on my list. That is the Dodge Boys. That is Dave Strickler's Mopar, which was kind of partnered with Mr. Grumpy Jenkins Mopar that I bought that other kit for. So now we need at least 2 of those kits, and we can do this little tandem of Strickler and Jenkins Mopars. Super excited to pick that one up, especially for $2. Next up, we got Dick Harrell's decals. Might be a little hard to see. There's a lot of white decals, but this is, again, I do believe this is another altered Nova. This one is for Retribution 2. So nice set of decals for $2. Love Dick Harrell. Moving on, we got a few Slicks decals. Really great score for $2 a piece. First one is Pure Hell, one of the wildest altered Bantam dragsters. Very sweet score. Again, one that's been on my list to pick up. Picking it up for a couple bucks is an absolute score in my opinion. And next up, speaking of them altered wild childs, we got the Nanook, another iconic one. Every time I hear the name, I think of the iconic magazine cover one of my favorites. Just an awesome photo op, and just a cool altered dragster. And last up in this stack of decals is a set of Big John Masmanian from Slicks. This is for a CUDA funny car, but it has just a lot of great like gold leaf lettering. Again, if I don't find the kit, I think I can make some really cool fantasy style drag car out of it. Again, for a couple bucks. There's so many cool contingencies and names in that kind of gold lettering, and had to pick that up. So just another great score. Super excited, and picking up things that we wanted. So moving on from there, we're going to keep hitting the vendor area up, looking for those bits and pieces that we're after. Lots and lots of kits out there. Some really good prices, some, you know, pretty average prices. But unfortunately, there was none of the stuff that we were after there for us today. None of those customizing parts, grills, or photo etch. Kind of bummed out about that. There was one guy that had some vintage stuff. Some like glue bomb built up, some random parts, some broken bodies. But just nothing that really fit what I was after. He had some random bags of, look like singles of like exhaust headers and stuff like that. But just nothing that fit the bill for us. He did have two 1960 El Caminos, which are high on my list, but he had them priced out at $50 and $55, and they were a little glue bombish, and just nothing for me to really jump on at the time. So that means it's time to check out the main event, the cars on the table. So that's where we headed, go check out the cars on the table, and then start doing some recording to put out a video for that. So again, we're just going along, doing some filming, enjoying the cars, enjoying some conversations. Again, getting to talk to Larry, and then later on I did get to run into another YouTuber by the name of TCWAGS. He's usually in the live chats on the weekends, usually Brian's and Fred's, I believe. And then he also has his own YouTube channel, of course, that he puts some content up. I will leave a link to both of their channels in the description. Please go check those guys out. Both great guys. Really cool to meet both of you. And then later on, we did get to run into a few more subscribers. I get to run into Rod and Dennis. They are from Canada. Rod's a great dude. Awesome builder. He ended up pulling 2 awards in the show. So spoiler alert if you haven't seen the awards. But just a few minutes after meeting him, got to meet another gentleman from Canada. I forget your name. Sorry. I don't know if you gave it to me. But really nice to meet you. Always cool to meet the subscribers and just enjoy the event with you guys. And then right at the end of the show, did get to meet another subscriber from the Black Hills area. Really cool to meet you. Just great interaction, meeting all of you guys, and just enjoying the show. That's what the shows are about, is those interactions. So while I was doing all that, again, my parents were there. They were partaking in the event and even jumping in on some of the demonstrations. They were doing a little polishing demo, and they joined in on that. And with the demo, you got a little kind of sample kit. Has some polishing compounds, some pads, and different bits in there. So that's a neat little package, so we'll have to give it a go ourselves. Again, they each did it, so we got 2 of those. And then my mom did pick up a little stash shed. She got talked into buying some die cast. Lady talked her into it, but it was $5. Nice little Buick Riviera and a camper. Again, $5. Can't go wrong. Some really neat colors and nice car. And moving on to the last of the stash sheds that I picked up. I did pick up a couple more kits. And first of those is a 53 Hudson Hornet. Again, Mobius kit. Trying to collect as many of these Mobius kits as I can. Hear so many great things about them. I've yet to build one, but I do hear great things about them, and I want to make sure that I do have them when I am ready to tackle them. Again, nice little Hudson Hornet, $24. Can't beat that on a Mobius kit. Next up, 57 Chevy Bel Air 2-door sedan. Nice to have a little sedan Bel Air. Cannot have enough Tri-5s in my opinion. I believe this is the newer tooling that came with like the Black Widow tooling. Lots of good word on that kit. So we'll pick up a Bel Air to go along with those. We got this guy for $20, sealed kit. Really nice grab in my opinion. And last but not least is another Mobius kit. It is the California Flash 1965 Plymouth Belvedere. No, I am not showing you the same kit. Again, I picked up the one at the hobby shop because I wanted to build Grumpy Jenkins' car. as well as I wanted to build Strickler's car, and I could always build the California Flash Butch Leal's car. Cannot have enough of these. There's multiples to build, so I picked this one up for, again, 25 bucks. I think it's a great grab on these. These are some really nice looking kits. And that does it for the stash sheds. And the last and final thing that I did bring home was a top 10 award from the NNL. I am absolutely blown away by this. I had no expectations of picking up an award. I figured at best maybe I can sneak into a magazine, take a bunch of fancy cars, maybe get a shot at a magazine. But I'm absolutely floored by this and super proud of it. And yeah, what can I say?
Number 4 is a new name on the list, Mr. Adam Folk for his 1970 Roadrunner. Hey, good work, man.
If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.